Welcome back. We're busy talking pipeline issues, particularly, I guess, something that affects all of us, and that's petrol, fuel. Anytime you've been on a plane, chances are 70% of the fuel that gets to our Tambos come through the Transnet pipeline. So it's a very important and vital cog in the wheel of our economy. We're getting some questions from our audience here on the floor, and I just want to go now to table number 1, where we'll find Sanele Kumisa.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My question will specifically focus on the enterprise development program that is run by Transnet. Last year, we were basically invited to attend a specific briefing on the support of the pipeline in terms of spills. My worry, this is basically on the observation and how the document and the tender specifications were structured, is that they favor more of your large companies and companies that have been existing in terms of providing these types of support. So the biggest worry that happened in that setup is that we had individuals that are participant on the Transnet enterprise development, and the assumption was that Transnet was going to create an environment that was going to be favorable for them to gain access in terms of being service providers in that environment. But the way that the bid was structured, you could see that none of them actually had capabilities of providing support. So if Transnet has a plan in terms of enterprise development, can they then clarify how will they structure it so that these companies who are already on their programs are able to participate when they issue out bids, so that it doesn't become a program where people get trained on marketing, accounting. You know, at some point they need to be active within the environment because that's the expectation. So I would like them to basically give us an idea as to how have they planned for these enterprise development to unfold. Thanks.
Okay, so perhaps both of you, it seems like you've got good intentions, and his feeling is that perhaps it's not enabling them all the way through the system. What's the plan?
I think specifics would help with this particular example, so that we know exactly when he says that the specifications had an issue, what exactly in the specifications. Because we're looking to improve, and that's why it's very important for us to know exactly what it was. But I think the enterprise development drive is quite big at Transnet, and I think there are a lot of success stories. But from time to time, we do encounter examples, where there may have been frustration, and I think it helps us to understand exactly what the speaker would be referring to.
All right. And in the pipelines business, I suppose you gave us a hint earlier on in terms of where in the value chain, but...
Yeah. I think, again, the specifics will be important because then you can address that directly. But overall, if you look at the kind of industry we're in, it's a very specialized industry. So we try our best in areas where those kind of services are the most spread out amongst other industries to try and do that. What we also try and do is that if we require large service providers to do certain things, then we go out on tender for that particular aspect. But we are also trying within our tendering process to try and encourage smaller service providers to get in. So we try and split the jobs up into categories of what requires big service providers versus what requires smaller service providers. We don't lump them all together anymore. So that then gives more opportunity to new entrants then to access those kind of tenders.
Okay, Mr. Tshifularo, South Africa, I don't know whether it's being encouraged or is this a natural movement towards becoming a more gas-driven economy. We'll talk about the logistics, but is this what you're seeing? Is this the sense that you're getting?
Well, everybody talks about gas being a game changer, but that depends on a number of factors. I think we touched on the issue of price earlier. The current price, it does not really promote people to venture into exploring, to get gas. You will recall that at one stage when we were undergoing load shedding, a lot of people, they were talking about, this gas being a game changer, and there were people thinking about start to explore in the Karoo, because the price was like supporting such kind of initiative. But yes, if you look at environmental considerations, gas has got a number of benefits. In terms of like thinking like you're going to reduce your CO2 emissions, and that becomes a key point, especially now in the case of South Africa, where there's a major focus on carbon tax. Then you look at gas as a most probably energy source that can help us to reduce our carbon emission profile. So if you are a country that is already blessed with gas as a natural resource, it is in your interest to pursue gas for environmental consideration, and it's a clean energy source, and it will allow to stimulate new industries. In a country like South Africa, if you were to discover gas, let's say in the Karoo, it does create a lot of job opportunities. It does stimulate the economy, and it's from that perspective, it becomes very critical for us. But with the current prices, yes, it can remain a pipe dream. I don't think it can support such kind of investment.
Mr. Gumede, your thoughts on this whole gas story, and then we'll get into how your business prepares itself for that eventuality.
Maybe I should start with the earlier question on EDP. The petroleum industry is a very highly regulated industry, both by the department and the National Energy Regulator. And what you then find is that within the regulatory framework, you find that you end up, because you are thinking of safety, quality, and all those matters, and creating an environment that is hostile to small new entrants. So maybe what the industry needs to do is to help, or the small traders need to do is to help the regulator understand their problem, because you might find that the problem is actually not with Transnet. Coming back to gas, provides a lot of opportunities. We've been talking about it in South Africa for quite a while, but it's not taking off. It's just not happening. I do not know why. You only see it in these big establishments where they use it to cook, but to use it as a major energy source for the house, it's not happening. And I think the fault does not lie with Transnet or SABC. I think the fault lies with the government.
Okay, all right. So, should gas take off? Is your business geared for a shift, or are you already preparing for that?
We are geared. I think Lennie will talk more. We've also got a gas pipeline as part of the 3,800 kilometer network. We also prepared from a port side, because this gas must arrive by ships, and dock at our ports and gets offloaded. Storage facilities would need to be developed, as well as the connection to the existing grid. So we are ready for it. I think we just need a definitive decision on where we want to go with it as a country.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll start exploring it. Recent development, a Chinese company has bought into the local industry. I think 75% of Chevron. What does that mean? We'll find out after this.